Hi, so what I'd like to do here is show you how to put multiple data sets from different sheets all onto the same graph. So what we have here, the first sheet is room temperature. It might be nice to label these guys. If you just click on the sheet name, you can rename it. Here's our frozen sample. Sheet 3, we'll do salt water. And sheet 4 was boiling. Okay, so now we have everything labeled and we're going to put all this data onto one graph over here. I'll go ahead and insert a scatter plot where the data points are connected with lines. And I did not select a data set to start up this graph. So this first thing, I'm going to go ahead, right click and select the data. So right click, select data, and I will start adding trend lines. So this first data set was from room temperature. And my strain is going to go on the x-axis. So I'll go ahead, make sure when you select these that you have the same number of rows for both. So at the very end, I should have 16, 16, 34. So I should have matching numbers on here. So then I can say OK. To format this, you can add some axis titles. Strain does not have units for stress. That's going to be in pascals. Okay, there's one line. I want to keep adding some additional lines. So again, right click, and remember where that was, select data. And this time, I'm going to add a new set, only I'm going to add this frozen sample. Frozen. So here's my x-axis. I'm going to click on frozen. And again, there's my strain and my stress. Oh, I didn't select it quite right. So see how I don't have quite the same. So I'm going to have to try that again. Okay, 16, 16, 34, 34. So make sure everything lines up. It needs something in the Y direction for everything in the X direction. I'm going to say OK and just kind of save that. You can add them, I guess, one after another, but I like to save it in between. Okay, so that was frozen. Next, we will do the salt water. Okay, so here is the Y component, and here is X component. 34, 16, and our last data set. So what this helps us with really is to visually see at one glance how all those data sets compare. Okay, the last one here. Okay, let's go ahead and put a chart title on here. And of course, the important part is going to be our legend. So that'll tell us which line goes to which data set. But see how nice that is? We can very quickly tell that looks like room temperature was the stretchiest for a given load. So you want to kind of compare all of your numbers at some specific load, right? So if I look at maybe this is 50,000 pascals, And I draw a line across and I look at where each of these cross, how stretched out each sample was for the exact same load. That would be a good thing to compare. So you can say, oh, at a given load, this was 50% more stretched out. So room temperature versus salt water, it did not stretch very much at all. So salt water was more of a brittle versus room temperature was the stretchiest. And the others were somewhere in between. So some interesting data here, but try and get all those lines on one graph so that you can easily compare them like this.